That was beautiful. Thank you, Mackenzie. All right, next up, we are very fortunate to have a guest speaker. Chris, want to come up here? So Chris Willis is the Chief Design Officer and Futurist at Domo. He's the leader in design, AI, and innovation. Chris joins us to talk about...
We're going to talk about the one thing that's sitting right in front of all of us as you do this that we don't see. But it's one of the most crucial things, I think, that makes for great technology, makes for great lives, and makes for the biggest impact. So one of the things I feel very privileged about is, I've only been able to see 6 teams so far today, but is listening to your stories, right? Everyone here comes with a story. And that story is the thing that makes us feel special. It's also the thing that helps us make sense of the world. And it helps us connect with others. And at the end of the day, all of the work that you put into these projects, into these robots, you write a lot of Java code, right? Some of you are using agile development processes, using the latest technology. Maybe you're creating things from scratch, your own custom parts. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't connect with somebody, have you succeeded? So the one thing that I think we can all learn from this, and I include myself in this. So I'm a designer, so you're probably thinking, well, why is a designer at a tech event? I've done 4 tech startups. I'm on my 4th one. My 4th one I've been doing for the last 12 years, right? And what I've seen time and time again is that the people who are able to connect with others out in the world, or with their own teams, are the ones who make the biggest impact and make the greatest difference. So I want to just sort of bring up to you storytelling as the next technology you might want to start working on. So what do I mean by this? Can anyone think of a popular robot movie? That's one story. What is that story like? Okay, so let's say Terminator's on this side as a type of story. Where's Wall-E? Maybe way over there, right? How about the Iron Giant? Has anyone watched the Iron Giant? Okay. How about Blade Runner? There we go. There's no shortage of stories around robotics, around technology. Some of those stories are utopian. And as a designer, I feel like I have to be an optimist. I have to be a realistic optimist. In some ways, I have to be an extremely realistic, but also overly optimistic person, right? Because I want to try to make something really interesting, very exciting, and hopefully very impactful in very positive ways. At the same time, let's see, I'm over here in the Terminator area. At the same time, I have to deal with the practicalities, right? The way the world works, the limitations of technology. But for you, well, you're going to have to do all that as well. But for you, I think the earlier you can learn how to tell stories, not only the better you'll be at doing presentations. We all have to be good at doing presentations, right? You're going to make slides and you're going to have to tell judges what you did and how you did it and why it's great. But you also have to communicate between each other, right? There's stories that you tell yourselves. And these stories, if told often enough, and if refined, and if compelling enough, and if humanizing enough, ultimately become something we call myths. And a lot of human history has been guided by these large myths. You shouted out actually a few of them, right? The idea of these sort of robotic, super intelligent beings that either help us or maybe thwart us. So I just want to leave you with this. Story is important. Each one of you is carrying a story within you. The better you can get at telling stories, finding stories, refining them, making them more compelling, making them more human, the more successful your technology will be. Because the stories you tell yourselves are also the stories that you're going to use to design, program, engineer the technology you're working on. We're creatures that tell stories constantly. Every word we use is a metaphor. Language is a metaphor. Calling something, well, let's say like Terminator versus Wall-E, those are metaphors. Are we more Wall-E or are we more Terminator? And so the more you can learn how to communicate with language, with story, the more successful all of you are going to be. So thank you.
Okay, you all. Hey, thank you, Chris, the Chief Design Officer at Domo. And now we're going to watch 2 quick videos from RTX to see the game and actually our sponsors. So, hit it, Jaden.
First Tech Challenge teams, and congratulations on advancing to this level of the Into the Deep series. Makes you possible in the depths of our oceans and understand we all play an important role in protecting those waters. Let's look at some of those technologies with my colleague, Julie.
Thanks, Dantea. From 500 miles up in space, the Visible Infrared Imaging Radiometer Suite, or VIIRS, which is what I work on, rides aboard a satellite gathering information about our environment, like ocean chlorophyll levels or algae blooms along the coast. VIIRS is basically just a really fancy camera that's changing the way we see our planet. It has a rotating telescope to gather particles of light called photons that travel through various lenses, mirrors, and detectors to generate data that's used to identify things like emerging storm patterns. VIIRS's tracking capabilities can increase warning times on approaching hurricanes and forest fires, and this ultimately saves lives. On board a different satellite, RTX's new Glimmer instrument will collect and process information from across the electromagnetic spectrum to get a detailed view of coastal water conditions. Glimmer will provide precise measurements of ocean ecosystems in the Gulf of Mexico, parts of the US coastline, and the Amazon River. These markers can be used to detect coral bleaching and red tide, and will help decision makers rapidly respond to coastal disasters, like an oil spill. Back here on the ground, RTX is optimizing technologies that predict stream flow and flooding to better understand drought and other water quality challenges. Our goal is to help communities become a more climate-ready nation.
These are just a few innovations we're working on to help protect our oceans and our planet. We've already seen a tremendous level of teamwork, ingenuity, and enthusiasm from this season's First Tech Challenge teams. It's truly inspiring, and we look forward to seeing more of your STEM skills in action. You should be so proud of your accomplishments, no matter the result of today's event. I know we truly are. Best of luck, teams.
Welcome to the First Tech Challenge 2024 to 2025 season game, Into the Deep, presented by RTX. 2 alliances of 2 teams each compete to retrieve and score samples into net zones, low baskets, and high baskets. Human players assemble clips onto samples to create specimens, which can be scored on the low chambers or high chambers. Each match begins with a 30-second autonomous period. Following auto is the 2-minute teleoperated period. The last 30 seconds of teleop is the end game. Robots may continue scoring samples and specimens, but can earn additional points by contacting the low rung, achieving a low-level ascent or high-level ascent, or parking in the observation zone. The alliance that earns the most points wins the match.
Really? No applause to that amazing game? All right, I know, we're usually supposed to have jokes for me, but we're running a little bit behind. But before, over there, are my judges. So, judges, now I'd like to introduce a very important group of people. Judges, will you please stand up? These individuals have the difficult job. Yeah. Y'all, they were here at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. That's why they're the SEAL team, right? Sacrificing the entire afternoon of leisure for all of you. So, a louder round of applause, please. These individuals have the difficult job of singling out the best of the best from today's teams. They've already been busy all morning and will continue interviewing and doing pit judging. So we look forward to the outcomes of what they're going to do. If you know, back there, I guess you might have missed it, but there are some amazing custom awards for the award winners. So pit interviews, shine. Thank you again to the judges. Round of applause, everyone. One more time. Okay, two more really quick things. We are going to have our qualification matches, and then we have lunch. Zarin, what are the teams that need to start queuing up? Oh, y'all might remember, this is Zarin Robertson. He is my son, and he is going to be the MC and the game announcer, so give it up to Zarin.
Hello, hello. I have a pink flamingo hat, if you didn't notice. I thought you should know that. All right. For our first match, if you aren't here already, should be queuing, we have on the Red Alliance, 1806, the E-Eliminators, along with 5667 Robo-Miners. On the Blue Alliance, we have 12351, the Aviators, with 21881, the Skynet. We also need teams for Qualification 2 to begin queuing up now. 24087, Storm, 15749. I'll get better at this as I go on. Owens Baconators, 25976, Disconnect, and 5026 Tesla Coils. Please queue.
Okay, so some quick information is teams, you're coming in from these two doors and you compete your match and you go out the back doors, all right? We do have safety in the building by the front office, our AEDs and our second
aid.
Yes. All right, let's begin.
If you are missing an amazing Spider-Man wallet, please come to the keeping table. We have your wallet. While the teams are getting set up for match one, we once again on the Red Alliance have 5667 Robo-Miners, along with their alliance partner 18806, the Eliminators. They'll be playing against the Blue Alliance, naturally, with 12351, the Aviators, and 21881 Skynet.
Darren, did you notice that there are two sister teams that are going to compete against each other?
No.
You guys might see the Aviators number, the 12351, and recognize it as what number? Nuclear mines. But now the Aviators just came to take that mantle and that number. You ready? Let's get it close.
Only if I type.
That's okay. We'll begin the first match in 3, 2, 1, go!
As you all know, the first 30 seconds is autonomous mode, so they do not touch their bot, and it is programmed to do these amazing tasks. So close, Robo-Miners.
3 robots have moved on the field during the autonomous period, scoring extra points. Aviators.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
In the teleop phase, teams control their robots via controllers. Their goals: to pick up samples, create specimens, and earn more points by placing them in the corresponding areas. Miners picking up a red sample from the submersible, along with their alliance partner, Eliminators. Aviators appear to be pushing the blue samples into the observation zone in order to turn them to specimens for extra points. Partners, Skynets, are taking a yellow sample and placing it into the low basket. Eliminators reaching up and Robo-Miners reaching up at the same time, towering up. Ooh, they collapsed. Down to the trenches. Samples are being turned into specimens and being grabbed off the wall by the Aviators. If they're scored onto the high chamber, they're worth 10 points each, as opposed to 8 for placing a sample in the high basket. They're going for the nearby samples. The Eliminators may be having a little bit of a sour time. Skynets also picking up a sample for their basket, just like Robo-Miners. Another sample specimen has the Aviators for the Blue Alliance. Robo-Miners going across the field to pick up more samples. And maybe easier to pick up from the submersible.
Endgame.
During the endgame, teams can earn extra points by doing some bonus tasks, to include hanging from the submersible structure in the center. Aviators attempting to hang, but looks like the hook is just barely too short there. Few seconds remaining. Will they get the hang? That is game.
One thing I'd like to say about the Eliminators, they are a new team that joined last minute into today's competition, so we are so excited to have you all.
Over on field 2, match 2. On our Red Alliance, we have 24087 Megastorm. They are playing with 15749 Ohms Baconators. Delicious. On the Blue Alliance, we have 25976 Techno Knights, along with 5026 Tesla Coils. An electric combination. We have the match scores from match 1. Win by only 3 points. A wonderful first match. Congratulations to all of our competitors. Ready for match 2 in 3, 2, 1, go! The robots are moving during the autonomous period. Wonderful achievement. We have 5026 Tesla coils moving multiple samples during the auton to be turned into specimens. The Alliance partner instead is collecting them and parking at the submersible. The Alliance went for a sample for the high basket, but looks like it was just a little short. Tesla coils still moving. Driving at the last possible second for 2 specimens.
2, 1.
The scores are fairly even. Zoom for each of the samples already on the floor. They're typically easier to get. It's a matter of who can get them faster. 5976 Techno Knights going for a high basket, just as their competitors on the Red Alliance. Ohms Baconator and Megastorm do the same. Tesla coils going to collect from the submersible, exhausting all the nearby samples. Nearby. High basket for the Techno Knights. And Megastorm going to collect last of the samples for another last high basket. Baconators are collecting them from the nearby and pushing them into the observation zone. Tesla coils doing the same. Collecting from the submersible is very difficult. We have both the Tesla coils and Megastorm reaching for them. 4 specimens over on the Red Alliance. Meanwhile, more samples are done on the Blue Alliance. Another specimen for the Tesla coils. Storm collecting one last sample before endgame in next 5 seconds. Another high basket for the Red Alliance. While Tesla coils goes for a specimen. Another specimen for the Red Alliance. Baconators. Last, and we'll see if the teams will go for the last samples or specimens before they attempt to hang for extra 15 points. 15 to 30 points. Reaching for the top rungs, 25976, the Techno Knights. And 24087, hanging. That's ended. At least 2 robots hanging off of the ground. Setting up on field 1, we have match 3. On the Red Alliance, we have 24703 Celestial Robotics. They're playing with 10694 Fulcrum. On the Blue Alliance, we have 10533 Ohms Velocity Raptors. And their alliance partner 26583 Nerds Attempting Stupid Acronyms, NASA. We are waiting on the scores for match 2. Meanwhile, what does your robot drink for breakfast? Java. We have the scores for match 2. Blue Alliance victory. Very high score. We have our event high score in match 2. Can we go any higher? After the refs have confirmed your score, please heed their call and remove your robots from the field promptly so we can get the next match loaded. Why settle for 1 pie when you can have 2? Oh wait, but that's just 1. Good. We're ready to start match 3 in 3, 2, 1, go. Autonomous period begins. We have 2 robots moving. A sample for the Blue Alliance. Looks like a Red Alliance specimen is also going to be scored. 2 specimens for the Blue Alliance. An excellent autonomous period. A slight miss by the Red specimen. Unfortunate by 24703. So Robotics. Another specimen from the Blue Alliance.
Driver, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
The driver-controlled period of the match. Each robot appears to be going for the nearest samples on the field. Looks like in the corner of the field, we have 10694 Fulcrum attempting to get the nearby samples and maybe go for a high basket. 10533 Ohms Velocity Raptors getting a sample in the high basket. Their alliance partner collecting a specimen from the observation zone. Looks like they're lining up for the nearby samples. 24703. Meanwhile, is placing a sample specimen onto their high chamber. Pushing another one into the observation zone for a specimen. On their Blue Alliance, their counterpart, NASA, is doing the same. Another high basket sample score for the Blue Alliance. Fulcrum getting their first sample in the high basket as well. picking up the nearby ones using their long arms to reach horizontally and then vertically. Running out of samples in the nearby ground, 26,583. NASA is going for the ones in the submersible. Looks like a hanging attempt might be done on the high basket on blue, but it is not worth any points, and you should not attempt it. A specimen collected by 24,703. Celestial Robotics for that high chamber. Another sample being pushed into the Blue Alliance observation zone. On the Red Alliance, getting a sample in the high baskets, while opposite side, Velociraptors does the same. Last 15 seconds, it looks like robots are going to hang. 24,703. Robotics raising themselves off the ground. 26,583. NASA trying to do the same. Ooh. At least one robot hanging, the other two parking in the observation zone for a small point boost. The scoring of parking and ascending robots, the ones that are hanging off the internal submersible structure, is scored 3 seconds after the match ends or when all motion stops in the field. Over on field 2, have some fresh teams. For the Red Alliance, we have 16,028 Mechanites. They are playing with 10,695 Minerva. And the Blue Alliance, they have 21,676 Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls. And their alliance partner, 19,389 Angry Aliens. We have the scores for match 3. Hold your breath. Blue Alliance takes the victory. They have navigated the deep, 110 points. Congratulations. We're ready for our next match. In 3, 2, 1, go. Multiple robots moving. On the Red Alliance, we have the Mechanites pushing samples into their observation zones and picking up specimen. Alliance partner Minerva getting a high basket sample, going for another one. Mechanites cycling. But missed the specimen just off the wall. Aim for Minerva. The line's getting apart in the observation zone.
3, 2, 1.
All the robots are back in the driver control period. 3 robots are moving so far, reaching as quickly as they can. Angry Aliens going for the nearest non-alliance specific samples, the yellow ones, to prevent the other team from scoring them first. Their alliance partner, the Cone Pigeon Girls, meanwhile, are pushing them into the net zone underneath the baskets for points. The Mechanites scored a specimen onto the low chamber. They line up carefully, and then I slap that specimen on. Minerva reaching for the nearby yellow samples for the high baskets. Samples are being pushed by the angry aliens over into the net zone as well. Stacking up. Mechanites continuing. Mechanites and Minerva picking up samples from the submersible zone. More going into the net zone. Minerva reaching up for the high basket. The Blue Alliance, we have some traffic. Collection continues, pushing them towards the net zone. Mechanites continuing to go for the submersible. Pick up more samples. Minerva collecting them. We have a handoff. Mechanites is pulling them out of the submersible, and Minerva is picking them up and then putting them into the high basket. Great show of teamwork. Meanwhile, the Alliance taking them into the net zone to score points. Last 15 seconds, like from the trap cone girls, preparing for King. Minerva looks well. Red Alliance. A last sample for angry aliens. Oh, and a flipped specimen before the match ends. Back on one, we will have 5. The Red Alliance have 26. Chaos Squared. They are with 17. Aluminum Falcons. Or is it aluminium? On the Blue Alliance, we have 8641, the Masters. And their alliance partner, 12515, Raptor Racers. They're waiting on scores from our previous match. I have a sinking feeling. We have the scores. Give it a drum roll. A Red Alliance victory. 112. Congratulations to both our teams. Excellent driver control from both during the teleop period. Our next match, match 5, begin in 3, 2, 1, go. All 4 robots moving during the autonomous period, showcasing impressive speed and control. We have the Masters pushing them into the observation zone, turning them into specimens, and scoring them. On the opposite side, 2630 Chaos Squared, doing the same, but with the high basket instead. Alliance partners each have been parked in a different zone.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
The teleop period. Drivers now have control over their precious 25-pound robots. The Masters going for more specimens on the Blue Alliance, while on the Red Alliance, Chaos Squared going for high basket samples. 12515 Raptor Racers, meanwhile, pushing their samples nearby the high basket into the net zone. 1730 Aluminum Falcons, picking them up from the observation zone and going for specimens, while Masters does the same. Already, samples have been exhausted from the main fields, and the Masters have been pulling them from the submersible, in their horizontal extension. Chaos Squared going for the same. Raptor Racers has another element trying to put into the net zone. Aluminum Falcons pick up another specimen from their observation zone. It will be a close match. Both teams are excellent at picking up specimens lining them up. More specimens for the Blue Alliance. More samples for the Red Alliance. The end game is approaching. Will teams go for more cycles or attempt to hang for more points? More samples for high basket on the Red Alliance. Both teams going for it at the same time. The Masters searching for another sample from the submersible before the match ends. Both robots in the Red Alliance appear to be lining up to hang. The last 20 seconds, 10 seconds, the match. The Masters appear to be reaching for one more sample from the net zone, and then parking in the observation zone. Two robots appear to be defying gravity. Very impressive. On field 2, the even-numbered field, for match 6, the Red Alliance, we have 37-47, the Hive. That's not enough buzz. And their alliance partner, 25-678, disconnects. Against the Blue Alliance, 21-676, Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls, making a second appearance with their alliance partner 28-285, by and large. We have the scores for match 5. A Red Alliance victory with a high score of this event of 205. An incredible tally-up auto period for both teams, though. Congratulations. Blue Alliance, are we ready? Hopefully you're paying attention. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Great. Red Alliance, are you ready? Thumbs up. Refs. Where? All right. We'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go. 3 robots shoot off to begin the autonomous period. Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls moving to the ascent zone in front of the submersible. Meanwhile, over on the Red Alliance, the Hive going for a high basket sample and collecting the nearby yellow ones to add to their collection. Their alliance partner parking in the observation zone for a few points. All is quiet. Not
Drivers,
anymore.
pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
The robots all begin moving, the Hive pausing for an extra moment, by and large pushing their samples over to their observation zone. Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls continuing to push effectively their samples over to the net zone. The Hive is still frozen in place. Disconnect appears to be connected, but the Hive may not. Collecting specimens. Disconnect is making up for lost time. By and large, picking up specimens prepared from their observation zone. Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls on the Blue Alliance pushed their samples net zone. by and large preparing to place a sample onto their high chamber, while Disconnect does the same on the Red Alliance. Another sample for the Blue Alliance net zone. And another specimen for the Red high chamber by Disconnect. Ooh, very close, but a specimen just barely fell off the high chamber by and large in the Alliance. Running out of nearby samples, Disconnect is going for the ones available in the submersible. Looks like they're going to give them to the human player in the observation zone to turn them into specimens for more points. Another sample being pushed over to the net zone for the Blue Alliance, while by and large, looks like they are setting up for park or hang. Disconnect looking to get one last specimen before the end of the game. Disconnect getting that last specimen and going for the observation zone for a few extra points. If you have a hotspot or other Wi-Fi devices, please disable them. They can cause interference with the networks that are used to control the robots. Otherwise, we may be able to find you if your phone hotspot is Bob's iPhone. We'll find you, Bob. Back on match 1, preparing for match number 7, another prime number. On the Red Alliance, we have 5, 6, 6, 7 RoboMiners. Their alliance partner 24703, Celestial Robotics. On the Blue Alliance, we have 10695 Minerva, purple. And their alliance partner 8641, the Masters. We have the scores from match 6. A Red Alliance victory, 123 points. Congratulations. Back on match field 1. Red Alliance, are you ready? Blue Alliance, are you ready? Score. All right, we'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go! RoboMiners shooting off to place their sample into the high basket. Minerva on the Blue Alliance doing the same, each getting a sample successfully. RoboMiners goes for another, but just barely drops it. Their alliance partner on the Red Alliance, Celestial Robotics, gets their specimen barely hung onto the high chamber if it sticks around. Minerva Zauton picks up another sample, goes for the high basket, but collides with the bottom side of the basket. The opening is on the top, unfortunately.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Robots are now moving, going for their nearest samples. The shortest distance, the fastest time, unless there's traffic. RoboMiners, Minerva, both going for the yellow samples nearby to place into their baskets. Meanwhile, Celestial Robotics lining up to get another specimen onto the red high chamber. Minerva scoring another sample into the high basket, goes for another. Ooh, looks like placing one specimen got a 2-for-1. From the observation zone, Celestial Robotics goes for another specimen, while the RoboMiners line up the submersible to pick up samples. Minerva reaching up to get to the high basket, succeeding and moving to the next sample available on their side, blue side of the field. RoboMiners, their baskets to place a sample of their own color into their high baskets. Well, Minerva does the same. Celestial Robotics looks like they're going to push their samples into the observation zone. Minerva going for the second to last blue one on their side for the baskets. RoboMiners lining up on the yellow sample. Endgame has arrived. Minerva finishing, maybe going for one last sample into their high baskets. RoboMiners lifts up, but their bucket just seems to lose that sample. Ooh, a sample falls just outside the field. Blue Alliance, but it looks like Minerva's going for a hang. RoboMiners pushes past and looks like they're parking in the observation zone. Over on field 2, preparing for match 8 on the Red Alliance, we have 26583 nerds attempting stupid acronyms, NASA, and their alliance partner 25976 Techno Knights. Give them a cheer. On the Blue Alliance, we have 21881 Skynets and 26630 Chaos Squared. We have the scores from match 7. Blue Alliance victory. Three points. A park matters. Those 3 points can be the difference between success and almost success. Blue Alliance, are we ready? Red Alliance, are we ready? Referees. Score. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. All the robots moving, each in their corner of the field, either going to park or picking up the nearby samples or preloaded samples and placing them into the high baskets. A specimen on the Red Alliance. Victory. 26583 NASA going for a second specimen during the autonomous period. But it falls short and falls into immersible.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Chaos Square, after placing a sample during the autonomous period, goes straight for the ones in the submersible instead of moving towards the one already on the field. Their alliance partner, it looks like they are lining up to pick the ones nearby the observation zone, while Chaos Square looks to pick the newly created specimens from the observation zone. Techno Knights over on the Red Alliance have picking up the yellow samples and scoring them into their high basket. NASA getting their second specimen onto the high chamber for Red. It has not been lost into the deep this time. The arm extended on 21881. Skynet appears to be reaching for the yellow sample nearby their high baskets, while their alliance partner reaches for specimens created at the observation zone, but drops one and will have to play 2 pickup later. Techno Knights reaching for the last yellow sample by their high baskets. Chaos Square getting another specimen on the blue high chamber and reaches for another one to return to the observation zone, while NASA on the Red Alliance gets a last specimen for the end game. Another blue specimen by Chaos Squared Alliance. Another sample by NASA and Techno Knights for the Red Alliance. The robots seem to be rushing into the ascent zone for hanging as a task on the second rung, worth 15 points. All 4 robots touching the submersible, and not all of them have made the dive. Over on field 1 for match 9, on the Red Alliance, we have 5026 Tesla coils. And their alliance partner, 12351 Aviators. On the Blue Alliance, we have 19389 Angry Aliens and 25678 Disconnect. We have the match scores from match 8. The Blue Alliance takes the victory by a narrow 5 points. A very close game. Congratulations. Red Alliance, are you ready? Hello, Red Alliance, are you ready? Blue Alliance, are you ready? Refs. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! All the robots moving. Aviators looking to get a sample in the first low baskets. Tesla coils on the Red Alliance pushing their samples towards the observation zone. On the Blue Alliance, we have a robot in the observation zone. Looks like just about ready to pick up a specimen. Their alliance partner, 1989, Angry Aliens, has parked in the net zone with their sample for 2 points. Tesla coils continues to move, looking for more
Drivers,
specimens.
pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Tesla coils may be looking to pick up the samples that they dropped during the autonomous period. Over on the Blue Alliance, we have more samples being pushed into the net zone beneath the baskets by Angry Aliens. Their alliance partners Disconnect, meanwhile get another specimen onto the high chamber, rapidly assembling the ones that collected from the nearby bike marks, the observation zone. Aviators on the Red Alliance picking up the yellow samples nearby and putting them into the low baskets. Tesla coils collecting from the submersible now. They have amassed a collection of specimens on the human player observation zone. It looks like they're planning to stock up on specimens and then score them all at once. Aviators going to the submersible and picking up samples for their low basket meanwhile. While on the opposite alliance, Disconnect and Angry Aliens are pushing them to the net and scoring them onto the high chamber. They have exhausted all the samples on the field and now must reach into the submersible to pick up more in order to score. Tesla coils lining up for another specimen. Matching in numbers, blue and red specimen. Tesla coils has more to go though. Aviators picking up more from the submersible and scoring into their low basket, while Angry Aliens is moving around, playing a little bit defense and scoring samples in the net zone, while their alliance partner, Disconnect, continues to pick up the last specimen they have from their zone for the high chamber. Tesla coils and Aviators both lining up onto the submersible. Look like for a hang in the last few seconds. This will be a close match. On field 2, the field that is one more than field 1. On the Red Alliance, we have 17230 Aluminum Falcons and their alliance partner 28285 by and large. On the Blue Alliance, we have 15749 the Ohms Baconators and 10694 Fulcrum. We have the scores from our previous match. Take a deep breath. A Red Alliance victory, 159. A high score today. Can we break 200 once more? Field 2. Hello, Blue Alliance. You're all wearing blue shirts. Are you ready? Blue Alliance? Thumbs up. Red Alliance? Thumbs up. Referees? Sure. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. 3 robots move. The Red Alliance, 17230 Aluminum Falcons pushing their samples into the observation zone. Meanwhile, on the Blue Alliance, Fulcrum appears to be picking up the nearby one samples for the high baskets. Ohms Baconators parking in the observation zone for an extra 3 points. Multiple specimens done by the Red Alliance.
Pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
We have entered the teleop phase. The humans are now in control. Aluminum Falcons reaching for the ones in the submersible. Their Auton already collecting from the field. Their alliance partner, also using their arm, has delivered a sample to the net zone. Aluminum Falcons looks like they're lining up to place them into the high basket. On the Blue Alliance, Fulcrum picking up a yellow sample, preparing to score in the high basket as well. Their alliance partner, Baconators, collects a specimen from their observation zone, but loses a specimen, but adds a specimen. Aluminum Falcons scoring into their high basket on the Red Alliance side, picking up the nearby ones and going for another. Their alliance partner, by and large, pushing the last remaining sample into the observation zone and turning it into a specimen. Fulcrum going for another high basket, but it looks like it's reaching a little too short. Slowly but surely. Aluminum Falcons going for another sample and then collecting from the submersible, their long horizontal extension. By and large, meanwhile, lining up to get their specimen onto the high chamber for Red Alliance. We have a blue robot dead in the water. Will they recover? The end game to get extra few points or one more cycle. Fulcrum looking to pick up sample from the submersible zone. Aluminum Falcons going for another sample to the high baskets. They look to be lining up to hang as well. Fulcrum going for one last sample. Will they get it before the game? A sample dropped into the low basket for the Blue Alliance just as the buzzer rings. Over on field 1, match 11. On the Blue Alliance, we have 24087 Mechastorm and 18806 the Eliminators. On the Red Alliance, they have 12515 Raptor Racers and 10533 Ohms Velocity Raptors. The Red Alliance is the Raptors team. We have the scores from our previous match. A Red Alliance victory. Congratulations. On field 1, Red Alliance, are you ready? Thumbs up. Blue Alliance, are you ready? Ref. Score. Fax machine noises. Okay, beginning the match. 3, 2, 1, go! Autonomous period has started, and a robot from each alliance started moving. The Red Alliance gets a specimen onto their high chamber, retreats back to the wall, looking for a park in the observation zone. Blue Alliance looks like they tried to just move into a more advantageous position for the teleop period. Raptor racers have moved to the net zone. Then take a breath of fresh air.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
The races have started. 7. Mecha Storm getting their first specimen onto the high chamber, matching red. Eliminators moving their samples by from the observation zone. A dropped specimen, a research sample, has been gone missing from the Raptors. Mecha Storm getting their nearby yellow samples into the high basket, scoring 2. Eliminators look like they are reaching up to get a specimen onto. Oh, they're going for the items in the submersible. On the Red Alliance, 10533 ohms velocity Raptors is picking up a specimen from their observation zone to be stored onto the chamber. Their alliance partner has moved all the nearby samples into their net zone to score points. Even if your arm doesn't work, you can still move the samples with a plow or just the wheels of your robot. Mecha Storm continuing to pick up sample after sample and apply them into the high basket. A slam dunk. Eliminators paused at the submersible. Samples being converted to clips. Samples having clips added to them to turn them into specimens on the Red Alliance. Eliminators still pause the submersible, wondering whether to take a swim or not. Their alliance partners, Mecha Storm, going for another sample into the high basket. In the last 10 seconds, we'll see if any robots go for the hang or go for one more cycle like the Red Alliance with their last specimen. And parking in the nearby observation zone. Wonder if the Red Alliance has a favorite dinosaur. Over on field 2 for match 12. On the Red Alliance, we have 16028 Mecha Knights and their alliance partner, 21881 Skynet. On the Blue Alliance, we have 3747 The Hive and their alliance partner, 24703 Celestial Robotics. Before they get into the deep, we have the match score. a Red Alliance victory. The Raptors have won by 3 points. You ever experience traffic in and out of the competition gym? Remember, there's an extra set of doors on the screens to the right and left. You can use those as well. You hear that? Nor can I. Blue Alliance, are you ready? Thumbs up. Red Alliance, thumbs up. Referee. All right, we'll begin in 3, 2, 1, go. 3 robots using their autonomous programs without any human controls, using sensors and pre-programmed inputs to Mechanites on the Red Alliance pushing samples into the observation zone and trying to collect them, place onto the red high chamber. Hive, meanwhile, doing samples the nearby zone to the high basket. 24/703 Celestial Robotics parking in the observation zone after scoring
pick up
a
your
single
controls.
specimen onto the blue high chamber.
3, 2, 1.
Skynet looks to be picking up the nearby yellow samples, while Mechanites with blazing speed goes up the specimens from their observation zone and hang them onto the high chamber. Losing one, but they add one. Meanwhile, the Hive picking up all the samples from the nearby zone and heading for the submersible after placing them into the high baskets. Their alliance partner, Celestial Robotics, picking up specimens from their observation zone for their high chamber, while Mechanites gets a third, or maybe the fourth. Running out of nearby elements, the robots reach for the samples in the submersible. Mechanites has fished out their previous specimen that fell off the high chamber. We'll see if they can get a good catch this time. The Hive going for more samples in the high basket, while their alliance partner, Celestial Robotics, continues to go for specimens for their high chamber. Each robot dedicated to a specific task during the game. Skynet's picking up the yellow samples nearby and looks like they're going for the high basket. The Hive and Mechanites had an undersea collision while they are fishing. They couldn't agree whose fishing spot is whose. Another specimen picked up by the Blue Alliance's Celestial Robotics, while the Hive gets more samples for their high basket. Mechanites going for another sample. That turns specimen, while their alliance partner Skynet looks to be preparing for an endgame hang. In the last 10 seconds, will we see robots levitating, ascending from the deep? All 4 robots parked at the submersible, but none have risen. On field 1, preparing for match 13. On the Blue Alliance, we have 26630, Chaos Squared, and their alliance partner, 5667, RoboMiners. On the Red Alliance, 21676, Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls, and 24087, Mecha Storm. This year, robots typically focus on one of two tasks, either scoring into the baskets or on chambers with specimens. Some robots choose to do both. Some robots choose to just do one, making alliance selection later today an important thing to watch out for if you work well with your alliance partner. We have the scores from match 12. A Blue Alliance victory. 171 points. 29 points shy of 200. On field 1, we're ready to begin our match in 3, 2, 1, go! On the Red Alliance, 24087, Mecha Storm going for the specimen, and then going for the nearby samples for the high baskets. RoboMiners placing their preloaded sample into the high baskets, but the nearby one didn't make it. Their alliance partner, 26630, Chaos Squared, looking for the specimens, falls just short.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
All the robots are now moving during the driver period. On the Blue Alliance, Chaos Squared looking for more specimens for their high chamber. RoboMiners picking up samples missed from the autonomous period to place into their high basket. Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls, meanwhile, looking to push their nearby samples into the observation zone or the net zone, to either turn them into specimens or score a few points. Their alliance partner, 24087, Mecha Storm, continuing to pick up their nearby samples and place them into the high basket. RoboMiners misses the dunk, looking for a sample placement into the high basket, instead opting to go for the submersible to collect samples. Their alliance partner, Chaos Squared, putting a third specimen onto their high chamber. While another high basket score for 24087. Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls pushing their samples nearby so that their alliance partner can use them as points for the high baskets. Both RoboMiners and Chaos Squared, exhausting the nearby samples, move to the submersible to collect. RoboMiners lining up for a high sample. Mecha Storm taking elements from Traffic Cone Pigeon Girls, communicating to get as many into a high basket as possible. Meanwhile, RoboMiners and Chaos Squared have split the work. One of them does specimens, while the other goes for the high baskets. Reaching the last 10 seconds, the robots going for their last few cycles, placing specimens or samples, attempting to park or hang from the submersible for extra points. A robot above the ground. A robot for each alliance above the ground. Hanging successfully from the submersible can earn you 15 or even 30 points if you are fully above second rung. On field 2, preparing for match 14. On the Red Alliance, we have 25976 Techno Knights. Their alliance partner 12515 Raptor Racer. They'll be playing against 28285 by and large and 12351 Aviators of the Blue Alliance. Blue Alliance. Of course, we have the scores from our previous match, 13. Blue Alliance takes the victory, 132 to 102, a close match. We're on field 2. Blue Alliance, are we ready? Red Alliance, are we ready? Score. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Multiple robots moving, some of them moving to the net zone for better positioning to begin the teleop here. Others, Aviator, and on 25976, Techno Knights going for specimen. Aviators collecting another specimen from the observations, looking to hang it onto the high chamber. Looks like a success.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
Robots are now full sail, hoping to pick up Aviators, the Blue Alliance pushing sample, colored specific ones, over to their observation zone to be turned into specimens. 12515 Raptor Racers, Red Alliance, pushing their samples to the net zone, while their alliance partner, Techno Knights, goes for the samples nearby their observation zone to place onto the high chamber. Aviators going for another specimen onto their high chamber after a score by the Techno Knights onto their high chamber. Raptor Racers pushing for samples in their net zone. While over on the Blue Alliance, 885, by and large, push their 3 by sample net zone. Running out of elements available on the field, teams go for the submersible. Aviators collecting from the submersible, delivering them to the observation zone specimen, while Techno Knights do the same for the Red Alliance. By and large, heading for the submersible. The Aviators of the Blue Alliance for a specimen. Teams will be going for their last cycle, attempting to hang. By and large, still reaching for a sample from the submersible, while the Aviator lineup like to hang. Raptor pulling around, moving so that their alliance partner set up for their hang. The Aviator suspended in the air. Hang. On field 1, preparing for match 15 on the Red Alliance, 17230 Aluminum Falcons, and their alliance partner 10533 Ohms Velocity Raptors. On the Blue Alliance, 19389 Angry Aliens, 37-47, the Hive. We have the scores from our previous match, 14. The Blue Alliance finds treasure. 9 points, congratulations. Match 15, Blue Alliance, are you paying attention? Hello, Red Alliance. Blue Alliance, are we ready? Red Alliance, are we ready? Freeze. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. After a short delay, all the robots are moving. The Hive pushing as fast as possible. Samples into the observation zone to be turned into specimens. 17, Aluminum Falcon. Same. It looks like there was a collision. Unfortunately, hanging not worth any points during the Hive getting 4 specimens, going for a 5th during the Auton. All 5.
Drivers,
An incredibly
pick up
impressive
your
Auton.
controllers. 3, 2, 1.
The Hive casting their reel, the submersible, looking for the blue samples because they have pulled all the other blue samples from their Auton. On the Red Alliance, the Ohms Velocity Raptors, Falcon, are reaching for the nearest samples. 19389 Ingrid Aliens, the Ohms Velocity Raptors, look to be competing for the non-alliance specific yellow samples. Red corner. Aluminum Falcon collecting specimens from their observation zone, placing them onto the red high chamber. The Hive picked samples up from the submersible. Does a neat trick, tossing out the side and collecting it. Their alliance partner, Angry Aliens, pushing their sample nearby the blue type baskets, the net zone. The Hive continues fishing. And Falcons going for yet another specimen. While their alliance partner, the Velocity Raptors, continue to get samples into the baskets for the Red Alliance. Angry Aliens pushing elements into the observation zone for assembly into specimens, while the Hive buzzes around looking to pick them up after they've been assembled. 10-5 through the Ohms Velocity Raptors decide it's time to go fishing. Move for their alliance partner to set up a hang endgame. The Hive looking for one more specimen, pouring it onto the bar. The Red Alliance, as the robots, are in the observation zone for a 3 points, and maybe earn 50 points for a hang. Match 16 will be the last match played before lunch begins. Matches will then resume at 1 o'clock. If you are in match 17 or match 18, you ahead of time so we can stay on schedule.
There will be get pizza sandwich, lunch.
we have the scores from our last match. Ba-ba-bum. The Blue Alliance takes victory. 147. Congratulations. Very close. Teleon periods. Over on field 2 for the Red Alliance, match 16. We have 25, 6, 7, 8. Disconnects. We have connection. And their alliance partner, 26, 5, 8, 3. Nerds attempting stupid acronyms. NASA. They'll be playing against Nerva, 10, 6, 9, 5. And the Eliminators, 18, 8, 0, 6. Life gives you lemons. Make robots. Blue Alliance, are you ready? Thumbs up. Red Alliance, are you ready? Thumbs up. Freeze. 4. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. The autonomous period has begun. Our last match before lunch. Robots are hungry. Minerva and the Blue Alliance getting a sample into the high baskets. Eliminators waiting for their chance. Over on the Red Alliance, NASA going for better positioning by parking net zone, a red basket.
Drivers, pick up your controllers. 3, 2, 1.
All the robots are almost disconnect, going for the nearby samples after their auton period specimens. Minerva of the Blue Alliance going for the high basket, another yellow sample. The Eliminators looking to get into the submersible. Disconnect and NASA in places going for sample and specimen. The Eliminators have decided to cast their reel they catch from the submersible. Minerva going for the blue samples. Go for the high baskets. Meanwhile, this connect continues. But specimens onto the high chamber, exhausting nearby ones and going for the submersible. There are still yellow samples nearby the red baskets. They're being snapped up by NASA. The Eliminators looking to intercept that last yellow sample nearby the red baskets. Minerva going for a sample of the high baskets. Disconnect, pick another specimen. NASA looking at that last sample near the edge of the wall. The Eliminators going to park observation zone for a few extra points. NASA reaches for the stars, sending off of the ground. Double sent to A. Minerva of the Blue Alliance on the opposite side does the same, while the other robots park in the observation zones. Match 17 will be after lunch. The last match. There is concessions in the cafeteria just past the entrance of where you entered today, hit administration. There's pizza, there's snacks, there's drinks, but they don't have the match score. The Red Alliance takes the cake.